Good evening, everybody. Afternoon, evening, depending on where you are. And welcome to another episode of LessonPix Live. I'm Bill Binko, co-founder of LessonPix with my wife and co-founder, Lori. How are you?
That's me. I'm great.
Yeah, you good?
Yeah, it's the beginning of August.
It's crazy time. It's absolutely crazy time.
I'm so excited about it. I even had my nails painted blue.
I didn't have my nails painted
Me
blue.
neither.
I will next time.
Oh, it's a great time of year. I don't know. It feels like my New Year's.
Yeah.
I get excited.
Yeah, we
about
are on a
everything.
weird schedule. We very much are on a August to August year in our lives now.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, you want to add any comments, we can see them. We're happy to pass them on to our special guests, which we should probably get started with. We have, as always, Beth Poss. Hi, Beth. How are you?
I am great, thank you.
Director of Educational Programs, AAC specialist and speech pathologist with LessonPix. And tonight we have Lauren Enders. Hi, Lauren. How are you?
Enders Gonzales. You gotta tack that on.
All right, Lauren
Enders Gonzales. I did get married. My husband might get upset.
I'm sorry. So,
I'm not offended. I'm just being weird.
I'm glad it's good. I'm learning just how ADD you are. It's great today. So, Lauren is a longtime friend of LessonPix. We've been hanging out with you since we were riding on the Patton's bus, right?
Those were fun
we
times.
rode $2 County to King of Prussia, right? Isn't that where the conference was?
We went from King of Prussia to Penn State to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, not Penn State. Wherever the capital is.
Harrisburg.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, so this was a bus. It was a great idea, and if anybody wants to restart this, I'm in. Linda Cartwright used to run it. This is the Pennsylvania AT group, and because they're so spread out across Pennsylvania, if they had an AT conference, they'd only get half the state, depending on where they had it. And rather than move the conference, they moved the vendors, which was this fantastic idea. And so if you're a vendor, you'd show up in Philadelphia, you'd fly to Philadelphia, you'd do a full day with all the folks from the Philadelphia area. You'd get on a bus with all the other vendors. They'd take you to dinner. There's beer on the bus. You meet all the other folks who are in the AT space. It was great.
Sometimes the dinner choices were not ideal. Okay, I'll leave it there.
Sometimes we went to like the oldest restaurant in Pennsylvania or something, which is on the way to Pittsburgh. But other times it was, Ruby Tuesdays, right? So it wasn't always the best. But it was great. And then they'd move you to Harrisburg and you do the same thing. And you go to Pittsburgh, you do the same thing. And then you fly home out of Pittsburgh. It was this fantastic idea. If anybody wants to start that in Florida, it would work here too, or there. We're not in Florida at the moment, but it would work there too. We'd love to do it, right? But that's where we first met you.
And that's a long time ago.
A long time ago. It was like 2011, right?
Yep.
So, But Lauren has been a speech path in the Philadelphia, the Pennsylvania area for years. You are an AAC expert. You speak on a million topics. Everybody loves you. Well,
not everybody, but thank you. It seems that way.
Those of us who know you from afar love you.
Really? That's not.
I need to plug in.
Oh yeah, you can't die.
No.
That would make for an interesting LessonPix.
No,
Live.
I had it unplugged because, I'm one of those people that was raised that as soon as there's like any rumble of thunder, everything gets unplugged in my house.
Ah.
So
Gotcha.
it was thundering, so I unplugged my brand new laptop.
It looks like Beth unplugged too.
So yeah, she turned her camera off, I think, but I'll put her back up when she comes back.
That's all good.
It's all good. We can do this. But today we are talking about back to school, and we are going to chat with you about how you managed when you were a consultant to the schools, or if you were prepping one of your clients.
Many years.
Yeah, right. And this is stressful for everybody, right? Whether you're the speech path or you're the speech device user, or the teacher who's never had a kid like this before. Nobody knows how to do this. And we're not just going to talk about LessonPix tonight. We will talk about LessonPix tonight.
Well, Lauren is very much think on her feet,
Yeah, she throws us curveballs and
comes up with
just
amazing ideas.
And gives us lots of time to prep for them, like 6 minutes.
Like, hey, Bill, yeah, when we go on in like 20 minutes, what do you think about this?
We're going to do it. We're going to do what Lauren says tonight. So
and it could be a disaster, but at least we'll have fun.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. So I'm going to unmute her. Okay, good. All right. If Beth comes back on, I'll put her back in.
And if anybody in the audience wants to chime in and give any comments,
yeah,
feel free
we
to
can throw them up on the screen, and we'll be happy to do that. So let's start a little bit about what you're doing now. Now, you are recently independent and
very recently
your own consulting, and I saw that you have you got
to put up her bio here.
Well,
it's adorable.
Yeah, it's adorable. So you now have your own consulting company, group, whatever you're calling this.
Well, I guess it's not really a group yet since it's just me.
Okay.
So.
Independent consulting unit. And
maybe there will be other people who are odd like me that might want to join me at some point. I don't know.
Well, I do know that the minute we announced you were coming on, the number of people who responded went way, way up. So,
thanks.
But this is at The Leap. I know this is a site, and we can share the link at some point. But and you make these amazing little cartoons of yourself, right? How cute is that? And this is all AI, right?
It is. And this one I'm actually impressed with this one because there's AI where you upload reference pictures and do a prompt and it makes something. But that's not what this is. This was me saying woman with curly brown hair parted to the side, the felt-like texture. There's a guy named Steve Bambury on X, and he posts these awesome templates for Microsoft Designer. And he posted a Muppet, and I nearly just fainted with excitement because Muppets they're my thing. So
yeah,
I not only made myself into a Muppet, I made my whole family into Muppets and most of my friends into Muppets. And, I'm probably not done.
Well, yeah, no, I saw that you made an AAC client into a Muppet. I saw that briefly on your screen flyby, right? You had.
Yes, but that was not that was me using AI. I told AI to generate, and I described the individual.
Do you have that deck that you could show? Because it's amazing.
Yes.
And I was inspired when I saw you doing this when we were on Caroline Musselwhite in your webinar the other day, because you were showing it through Adobe Express, I guess. And yeah, the Muppet. So I made myself into a Lego. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's awesome. So one of the things that some people have been asking is, if they want to have me, let's say, whether it's consult or whether it's speak to their group, if they were curious kind of what I was speaking on.
Yeah. This would be a good time to show that.
So I made something because I'm Lauren and I do things that take a lot of time when they're fun. So I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if I made it like an art gallery that people could kind of go through? Now it is not completely finished. It is not fully organized. This is new, like off the presses, not completely done. So this is a special showing.
It's a preview.
It's a preview.
Sneak peek. I have a thing for that.
This is the one you were talking about. And you can see, like, he kind of looks like he's driving.
There you go. Right, now it's officially top secret. There you go.
Very nice. Can you see my
I can.
screen?
Yes.
All right. So I made a student, a random created in my mind student, into a Muppet and attempted to have it look like he was in a wheelchair with a communication device that was mounted with some kind of alternate access. This is what it came up with, and this was one of the better ones. So, it's still evolving, but I thought, I don't know, it's not bad. He's cute.
I love it.
So I put all these. So I think one of the weird things there's many weird things about me, but one of the odd things is that if I'm really interested in it, I kind of go that directions. So there's actually a number of directions. So besides being an AAC advocate and presenter and content creator and all that stuff, I've always had a passion for just general, any kind of ed tech tool or creative software or, anything. I think, well, we could call it a gift or a curse, but my gift or curse is that I come up with random ideas on how to use things that are not the intended way. So this was something that I just did for Florida Library webinars, and it was engaging apps and online tools where I just talked about different tools. I think I might have showed the Muppet one. I don't remember, but I think I did. This is exciting. You could use this if you roll this into whatever you're doing with students or clients, or you can make it fun. So
it's not random, Lauren. They're creative ways that you're using these things.
What was that?
You're not using them randomly. You're using them creatively.
Okay, I'm using them creatively. So, So this is something that I was working on, but I feel like, what do you guys think? I feel like this was a kind of a fun way to, rather than have a list.
Sure. No, it's great. And I love the fact that you've leveraged this thing that you created is now your online persona, like everybody references this about you. Every time anybody talks about you, it's now the Muppet. I love it.
That's awesome because I'm really a Muppet fan.
So I have always been.
I ordered the Lego Muppets the day they came out.
I didn't know there were Lego Muppets.
Wow, she beats you then.
All right. So you also are an EduGuardian, which is
am,
new.
and I'm wearing my shirt.
Oh, let me make it so we can see your shirt.
Hold on, let me just.
I like
Let's see.
that title. There you go.
So, hold on. See, I can't see anybody because everybody's on my screen.
We see you. Relax. I'll tell you if you can't see.
There we go. Hi. Yeah. So look at this. I'm an extra EduGuardian.
Excellent.
So, I became a member of of a wonderful group of educators right before ISTE in Denver in June. And it's basically, shockingly, a whole bunch of educators like me that are, super enthusiastic about technology and come up with ideas just constantly, how you could use it, how you can engage a learner.
Right.
So I met amazing people, and part of the deal, if you're going to, if you feel you have what it takes to be an EduGuardian and you fulfill the, you can honestly say that you would represent their motto, then you make a trading card. And we had our first trading card exchange at ISTE, and it was ridiculously ridiculous and fun. A whole bunch of adults with alter egos of themselves.
Those are very
awesome.
fancy.
Here, would you like me to show a big picture of this? There you go.
Yeah, definitely the place for all the nerdy educators to hang out. I love it.
Well, I was in my element for sure, but the EduGuardians, that just took it up a notch, because the EduGuardians, everybody is like me. Like they're just a little over the top, but they're also super supportive of one another. So if you see some of the stuff on X going back and forth, you know, when it was announced that I was doing this, one of my eduguardians,
the first person who responded, right?
Rachel Lemansky, who I just met at ISTE for the first time, but she was right there in my corner and cheering me on, and that's what kind of this group does for each other. So I have learned in my older age that you need to hang with the people that want to hang with you.
Right. And you have no need to hang with the people who don't.
Yes.
That's exactly right. I agree 100% with that. Right. Right?
Yeah.
So
can I add something while we're on the trading cards? Just to like add in a little LessonPix?
Sure.
We make trading cards as one of our templates at LessonPix. Did you know that?
Awesome.
So
I did.
Can put together their own trading card, perfect for back to school,
It
beginning
is.
of the year.
Get to know you.
You could design your trading card, put in a photo, and then share it with different people in your class.
I think it's a great idea. Would you like me to show that?
And you know what? It would be a lot easier than what I did, which was
yours was super
from scratch.
fancy.
Super fancy.
Yeah, but it was also completely from scratch and not really doable in a classroom situation.
Correct.
So with LessonPix, you have more of a base, and then
they can choose
get it done in a shorter period of time.
You can upload photos, or they can choose an icon. Maybe like you did. You made a person a superhero,
right,
to represent you. So
yeah, the superhero that I made, and now that was a funny EduGuardian story. So we're supposed to just have a superhero that we did on AI, but they all looked like these gorgeous models, and I was like, that's not true. I felt really uncomfortable. So I found an AI site where I could upload a reference picture, and that's why it looks so much like me.
It does. It looks so just to make sure everybody knows, it looks just like you. It looks just like you. All right. So
if you go there and go to articles,
I will.
And under custom materials.
So real quick, we're going to show, because we might as well take every tangent into LessonPix that we can.
My middle name is Tangent.
Is it? All right. So trading cards. All right. Trading cards with LessonPix.
Look at all those styles.
Yep. So I like this one because it really looks like a Magic the Gathering card.
Oh.
Or a Pokemon card, whatever.
That's your
you calling me a nerd before?
I was a Magic geek. I actually have quite the collection of Magic cards sitting in a closet.
That's why I like you.
They're probably worth a fortune at this point, but they're. But yeah, so this is actually a good way to look at them.
That's the younger you.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's exactly what I look like right now. So you can make your own.
Your superpower is the brains behind the operation with his magic computer skills.
That's it. Nice.
And if you didn't want to upload pictures, like sometimes they may not want to upload pictures or have them, they could definitely use the edit feature of the customize their photos. Customize the image tool to get exactly the hair color or the skin color or the favorite color clothes that the kid wears or whatever it is.
Yep. So this is a good example of what if you just wanted to upload everybody's for a get to know me activity.
If you have student permission, absolutely.
Yep. And if you don't, you can certainly use like what Beth was saying.
Or icons, a butterfly.
Everybody picks one, right?
You pick you have the student pick what their favorite thing in the world, their special interest. What's your favorite thing?
iPad,
and that can be
pencil.
on the card. Right. But I will tell you that the excitement, there's actually a video of us on X when we first traded cards, and the excitement of a group of people in their probably 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s who were suddenly meeting people they hadn't met and trading weird cards with alter egos was, palpable. Like everybody was so excited. So think about if people that are that old are that excited.
Yeah.
Right.
It would go very well with younger people as well.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
Very inclusive as well. Everybody's got a superpower. Everybody's got a strength.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So that's awesome. Let me put this back to yours, not mine. All right.
There we
So
go.
we don't have to see it. I just wanted to make sure it was on your screen, not mine. So, so you've been doing this. This is part of your branching out. I know you present all the time. You were presenting virtually the other day when we tried to talk with the library group in Florida, which it turns out is headquarters in Palm Harbor, which is very strange. It's where we live. And
It's awesome.
Small world kind of thing.
Diana.
And where else are we going to have people see you in person? Where are you going to be?
Well, if they want to take a quick trip, it might be a little hard because usually the puddle jumpers are taken. But I'm going to be presenting in Montana this Friday.
This
wow.
Friday.
Wow.
Where
With
in
Brenda
Montana?
Del Monte.
Oh,
It was awesome.
there you go. Very cool.
Yeah. We're doing a full day at something called Montcom. And it's, all AAC, a whole day.
Oh, we sent them some swag to have there. They contacted us. So
I'm glad you're on top of that. I didn't send him anything, but Beth did. So, well, good. When you see all the swag and the giveaways, you'll know where it came from.
Well, I would have probably known.
Probably says LessonPix. Yeah.
it also
Hopefully our name's on it. It's not just stuff.
our boards, our communication boards, and our visual
Very good.
schedule boards.
All right.
Yeah. So that's the new. And then let's see, what else do I have coming up? I have a bunch of stuff booked, but remember what I talked about before we were on camera, and I said if I'm on the spot, while I'm totally fine being on the spot and I'm okay messing up in front of people, I don't always think my clearest.
You're good.
I'm not
You're
sure I can pull up my schedule from my brain.
Will you be at
All
Closing
good.
the Gap in October?
I will.
Good. So will we. We will all be at Closing the Gap in October.
I
So
will.
everybody that I know.
Everybody should
And
come.
isn't it back to our original?
It is. It's in what used to be the original Radisson. I don't know.
The
I can't remember.
Doubletree,
It's a Hilton or something now, but
The question I have is, are there going to be chocolate chip cookies?
Oh, it was a Doubletree? Was it a Doubletree before? With chocolate chip cookies? I don't know. We could probably bring some chocolate chip cookies.
They were delicious.
but it was the Sofitel across the way that had the best bakery.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. We will be at Closing the Gap with you in October, which will be our next big AT conference as well. I think, Beth, you're speaking at one between now and then.
Yeah.
At least one.
At least one, possibly.
So let's talk to back to school. It's supposed to be a back to school episode, so we're going to focus on it.
Yeah, sure.
And we have a couple different things. We have 3 different things that we know we're going to cover about LessonPix and back to school. 2 we know we're going to cover. And then your idea when you're coming on the show was, hey, why don't you throw features at me and I'll tell you how I would use them in the classroom or to engage kids and things like that. And we can make a spinner because, we need a spinner.
Because it's LessonPix.
Because it's LessonPix and it's fast and easy. And so she has so much faith in us that I'm going to go for this. I'm going to do exactly what she said.
Okay, let's do it.
And right, so we're going to do exactly what she said. We are logged into LessonPix.
All right.
And so the first thing is we need to, she wants to talk about features. I'm not going to make symbols for all the features, and I'm not going to upload pictures.
Do text.
I'm just going to do text.
People don't know about this text as symbols anyway.
And if you're working on just your vocabulary and you want to work on words, this is great. We don't show it enough.
I would put students' names in there.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Great for students' names for a random name picker.
Go for it.
Yes, but we're not going to do that.
Nope. Go put your text.
We're going to put features for Lauren to dance on.
All righty.
All right. So
let's see. So she's going to talk about back to school with these features.
How would she use these to engage students? Let's not engage. Let's not make it too specific.
Yeah, my big thing is the way to get the best learning and the best success and have everybody reach the potential, the massive potential that they have, everybody, is to connect with them to a point where they feel connected, they trust you, and then magic happens. So to do that, sometimes you have to be a little bit creative, but there are tools that make it a lot easier and, less overwhelming.
Gotcha.
Like LessonPix.
So I jumped ahead of you and I threw in a few features.
And you also threw in some templates, playing cards templates.
Well, we just talked about that, so we can take that.
Oh,
out.
but you know what, though? I had an idea as we were talking about the playing
All right,
cards.
well, then we'll leave it in.
Don't say it then. We'll see if it comes up.
We'll make this her color. And so what I do is I added all the text.
Guardian's color, yeah. See?
Yeah. And we're going to, as I entered this text here, and whoops, all I did was I separated them by commas. So you can put in your words for the week or whatever you're working on. You hit add new symbols to tray and you hit add words. And what it's going to do is it's just going to make a bunch of pictures that have these words in them. Some are kind of small.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can make materials with them. You can make whatever you want. You can make visual schedules or playing cards, other things. I'm going to go to the play tools. I'm going to make a spinner or draw out of a hat. What do you think, Lori?
Draw out of a hat, so then it won't repeat.
All righty.
Let's do the spinner because it looks better.
Will the purple
we'll do
show
both.
Up? There you
Barely.
go. I love it.
All right. How would you use the sharing center?
Oh, gosh. Well, I would use the sharing center as a time saver. But one of the things that you're going to hear me say over and over again is focusing on the special interests of learners to try to make that connection.
Give me an example of kiddos with a special interest. Don't give me a name.
Well, like dinosaurs, for example. So if you're on LessonPix and there's a sharing center, it's likely that somebody else's student also had the very same special interest and that somebody might have shared their awesome activity. And it may be that something is perfect. It may be something that you can use it and kind of modify it as you need it. Or it may be that they just kind of give you an idea and then you create something on your own. But I don't, my experience, I mean, I was in the schools for almost 30 years and until just, I finished the year out, and I don't see a whole lot of really exploring kids' interests and passions. And I think it's
the very first one at the top was dinosaur. What do you see? It's like a takeoff of the brown bear. I love that. Like, kid might not be interested.
From Tina Scoble. Tina, thank you. If you're here watching us, let us know.
Yeah, and then my initial thought is I'm, as you are too, Beth, an app smasher. So I would likely pull that up and have that and then think, well, what else can I use with this that could make it accessible and fun for them to choose something? So I might import that image from LessonPix into an app where I can put crazy hair or glasses or something on the dinosaur.
Or if if you wanted an accessible book, you could pull that book, that storybook, right, that was created and put it into Book Creator, and then it, or PowerPoint. Yep. And then you can make it
big Book Creator fan.
So I don't know if you guys noticed, but we just completely flaked out for a second, but we're back.
We were wondering, but it's okay. We held down the fort.
There you go.
Thinking.
That's right. I'm glad you guys stayed right. I hope it continued to broadcast you. That's great.
I didn't even notice. So
good. It just kept going. That's awesome. All right, let's go back to our spinner. Let's see what the next thing here that we're gonna do is. All right. Oh, it's down here. I don't know why I'm clicking up there. Because it looks the same. All right, communication boards.
Communication boards. Oh man, this is so I have I am teaching also at the university level. I'm teaching graduate AAC, and tonight's my last class, and LessonPix has provided this awesome resource, which is use of LessonPix for free while they're in their program, and Beth came on and spent a whole class with them and trained them, and it was amazing. Tonight is my last class. And my last activity was creating a robust flip book. I explained to my students that very, very often, one of my I don't even want to say it's a pet peeve. One of my hurt my hearts is that very, very often there are not enough words given to students. Not even close. Not even close. So I shared that if you do that, I mean, you will have a lot of pushback from a lot of people if you just say, I want to trial a high-tech device. But usually it's much more acceptable if you use something paper-based. So I say, blow it up and make a big, robust board with all kinds of cool language that includes their special interests. And you can do that in LessonPix. You can do that, in a number of tools.
So the flip books that they're making are, so how are you telling them how to make it, or are you leaving it open-ended?
Well, this is my second year teaching the course, and I did learn last year that just leaving it open-ended makes them freak out. And that's not really my my goal. So I created a template, and then I told them that they could use whatever, they've learned LessonPix. So I have some that are using LessonPix. I have some that are using Canva. I have, and they're just, I don't know. I guess
they're going to follow your lead.
I hope so, because I explained that a lot of times if you go and you look for one of these boards, there's just not enough words on there. There's not enough to make it fun. There's what I explained to them was we need to go beyond requesting and labeling. Most of the time when people are creating one of these boards, there's a whole bunch of nouns, and nouns are great. We need nouns. But if you think about what connects us with other people, what's funny, what's exciting, a lot of times that's verbs and adjectives. So we at least need to branch out a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's something we've learned probably since we started. Really, when you had a Go Talk 9, you had 9, right? And people would, over time, they would, we started hearing them talk more and more about, complete communication or robust communication systems, things that aren't about manding, they're not about request, or they're not just about it, right? Maybe that is what you start with, or what the kid starts with, right? You should be following the lead, but it should be about complaining, and it should be about commenting, and about telling you what they like and what they hate and things like that, right? And that's a great use for communication boards. It's also a great use for another feature that's on this thing, which is the grid books, which we just added this year. If anybody doesn't know about it, I think Beth has one that she's holding up.
I was just going to say, I know I showed your students grid books, and grid books is awesome because it allows you to take like your same core and replicate it and have different pages, or to set it up so that it's really easy. This was an older one that we made. Yeah, there we go. This is an older one that we made that was actually using the communication boards template, using the core section and the fringe section, where you had to make your core board was one file, and then each fringe board was another. And there's actually a free download of this on LessonPix under the Retopia and Retopia Go articles sections. But it's even easier now in grid books because you can just keep going, and it's all can be in the same file, or you might you did find something with summer, or something hit the max wall there,
but you're able to do more, move things. Yeah,
you can make mistakes. You're allowed to make mistakes now. So this is the grid books. If you haven't used it yet, you go to grid books right here, and it lets you build this kind of book that's got lots of different types. In fact, this is a decent core board that we've used on a lot of things. It is kind of the one that Beth showed with some coloring done here, but it lets you move things around. It lets you undo and redo. It lets you change the color and the outline of
drag and drops big.
Drag and drops big, and it does cool stuff. Like if you decide, I don't want these green ones. My verb should be red. Nobody wants it red, but whatever. It lets you do stuff like you can change this one. Right? We'll do like a dark gray background and a orange border and white text because, we're crazy at verbs. But if you do that, it lets you very quickly do stuff like, I want to paint that all over all of these, right? You can really quickly change your styles, and you've always got undo for when you realize that was a bad idea. You have multiple pages in one now.
You could also, if you were doing an activity, so this is where my brain is odd. When you just did that, I thought, oh, well, if you were doing an activity where you actually brought the manual board up on the screen,
right, or the smart board,
you could have a spinner and pick which of these words you're going to focus on,
right,
and then you could change the border or something, or just make those stand out.
Right. Today we're working on give
for the color.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
So it could be something like anytime one of the students uses
and I think
the word in yellow, they get extra points.
Point too, even because it's so easy and quick to do it, whether it's a print, right? Or even just to have, sometimes people are so worried about focusing on a particular word and they want to mask a lot of other words, but even just maybe changing the coloring, because it's so easy to change it back, print it, show it on the screen so that it stands out while you're teaching it, right? For that, maybe you make it a darker green, so it's still green, or you make it like a line green.
Right.
Right. Yep. Or you change the border so that it stands out, and it doesn't have to be that way forever, because you can just so easily just go back in and change it and modify it, reprint it or show it on the screen. So that's kind of where my head was going.
Probably the most important thing about this, and the main reason we made this tool, right? This is a very specific tool. We don't make a lot of tools that are about making grid books. Like, it's one thing. Most of our stuff is very flexible, like the templates and things. But the biggest thing is people want to be able to come back later and make a change. Like, so if you go into the sharing center, just because I don't have one ready, if I grab a grid book that somebody else made here, we don't want to call it a PEX board, but here, somebody made a simple point communication system, right? So they like this. It's the layout that they want. It's got 3 pages, a core word, some concepts, and some things. I haven't even looked at it, but if they wanted to go in later and add some more, right? Downloading the PDF is a PDF, but you can also go in and reopen this book in the grid book tool and be able to make the changes 3 months later when you decide, you know what, I didn't like the way I did that. Or 2 days later when the kid says, I don't have the word angry anywhere on my board. And you're like, right, we need an angry. I don't know. There might already be an angry on there.
And if that kid is sitting with you, you could say, oh, angry.
Right.
Well,
angry.
I wonder which symbol feels like angry to you. And I wonder, where do you think it should go? If you can have the student or the communicator provide their take on things and give input, they're more likely to be engaged.
Absolutely.
And then use it later.
Absolutely.
Made a nice big angry.
I love that. Yeah.
It wants to be able to find angry.
So that they can choose. Right. That's the beauty of having multiple symbols to represent different words, is that they can choose the one that's most meaningful to them. I mean, there might be certain words that are, we're going to keep consistent or whatever, but other ones that they get to have some autonomy about what their communication system looks like.
Yeah. It may just be that they help choose another image. And I'm thinking, all the way down to our most complex learners. You could use eye gaze. You could make an eye gaze frame that has the different choices. So you could make an eye gaze frame that has different choices for angry. Oh, right. Okay. These all mean angry. I wonder which angry you think the picture is the best one, like this one or this one.
Yep.
And you'd have your little eye gaze frame.
A couple different ways to do that. I mean, if you want to do that right within the grid books, you can, right? You literally can say, I want to I'll just take this one the way it is. I'll call it eye gaze. We're going to create a new page. And all I'm going to do is say, okay, there's my center section that I'm going to cut out and drag some pictures around. I mean, we can literally do the example that you just said.
And why would you cut out the center section in an eye gaze frame? Just to make sure, because I'm hoping that it's not all SLPs that, we've got teachers.
True. Absolutely true. So So let me see. Do you have an article on this, Lori?
Of course, on eye gaze. Search for eye gaze.
So under custom materials, I'm pretty sure it'll be right here under E, right? Look, a section on eye gaze
like
board.
telling the guy who's running it how to run it. Sorry, Bill.
She runs it. I just write the code. So but this is a good article on eye gaze frames and why you do this. The reason is you're going to hold it up to somebody, and they're going to use their eyes because they can't use their hands or for whatever. Even they're temporarily intubated for whatever reason. They can't use anything other than their eyes to make choices, to make selections, to communicate.
If you scroll down,
yeah,
you can see Eric holding it, I think.
There's Eric. And so, yeah, so we have a template for these. That actually, we have several different styles of template. This is a 2-look eye gaze board. So you look once to get the section, and again to choose within the section which of these you want. So you can actually have up to 36 things on this board that they can choose from, even with just what you can see on their eyes. Here's what this would look like in the PDF. And one of the neat things that this does, and it's something that computers are good at and people aren't, is that so the second page of this will have the same thing with everything reversed. So you print them front and back, and everything is correct. So if you're looking at one side and they're looking at the other, they'll be able.
Well, that's big,
right?
Doing eye gaze and being like,
right? Is it right? Is it not? Yeah, exactly right. So and so on the 2-looks, what they used to call E-Tran boards, or they may still call E-Tran boards, but like this one. So this one, it is really hard to do this by hand, to do this layout by hand, right? Because if you look at how this is laid out, right? Here, let me see if I can. So this, you're going to first look at the section. Like if I want to say bad, right? I would first look up, and they'd say blue, and then I'd look down because I'm choosing the lower one in the upper section. Or you can do that reversed, whichever order you do it. But in order to make this layout work, not only do the colors have to flip, so this yellow will have to be over here and this pink will have to be over there, but internally within each square, they all have to flip. So if you look at the second page, not only is the yellow over here, but the me is on the right where it was on the left. So like there's a ton of work here that computers are really good at, and it'll just do it for you. You put them in order and it'll lay it out for you, and it'll just work.
And when you do it by hand, you might get it wrong.
You will get it wrong. It'll drive you absolutely crazy.
Some people who've done that repeatedly.
Right.
The amazing Angela Morad commented, "Yep, all individuals should be involved in personalizing." So our conversation just
absolutely.
Hi, Angela.
Love having her on here.
Angela is one of the best resources in AAC. She's amazing. Angela Morad. She runs Amazing Kids, and she creates killer resources that she keeps meticulously up to date. So I'm glad
she keeps that grid. She's got a list, the features that shows all the AAC devices and all the AAC software, and keeps them all up to date and says what it is. So hi, Angela. Good to see you.
It's a gift. I always say this. It's a gift to the AAC community because there's so many changes with technology. It's, people like me and Beth that want to, keep up, but we're doing 15 other things. We would never be able to keep up with it. So
Angela is my go-to whenever I have a question about how a particular device works.
We may have to have her on LessonPix Live.
That would be amazing.
Might happen.
Amazing.
It'd be amazing.
Amazing. Oh, I can't believe I missed that.
So, in fact, she should be an EduGuardian.
She should be an EduGuardian.
I think so. She even already has a cartoon. She's doing great. All right. So, let's do one more spinner, and then we will we'll see where we go.
Okay.
I already did that one. I should have done what Beth said. All right, let's show what Beth said. So instead, I could have done draw cards and have a really cute draw them
and no repeats, right?
So why is turn in there?
What's in your tray?
Beer.
What's in your tray?
Bill, what were you doing?
So
It's what's in your tray.
So it came from my tray because I switched. I switched. I was over here on the blue one, this one, when I was talking, and this was earlier today. We were trying to find a broken image that was making everything slow. So these pictures are the potential images.
Wow, so you had two different accounts.
We need some beer. I think we need a spare.
That was just your special interest, Bill, was having the AI.
I think. Let's see. How are you going to make beer engaging?
Well, I mean, come on.
It's much easier.
I
Right?
can make beer engaging. I didn't try beer until I was like 45.
All right, let's go back to where we were. Which account was I in?
You were in Bell Test or something.
I was in AOTA. I know where I was. I know where I was. I signed out of my account.
There we go.
There you go.
And here's all my
There you go.
Play tools.
Draw
and
cards.
Also clarify for anybody that is confused why we're talking about this is that whatever is in your tray at that moment in LessonPix is what's going to show up in your play tools.
That's correct. The way you put things into the play tools is you put them in your tray, and then you go to the play tools, and you don't switch accounts just because you have better communication books that you can show the grid books better, and forget that you did them. All right, PowerPoint plugin.
Oh, I went nuts with the PowerPoint plugin during our time at home a few years ago.
Yeah. Our extended homeschooling effort.
Yeah, a little euphemism there. Do you want to pull that up? I think it's incredibly powerful in terms of, again, thinking about what does this individual seem to like. Now, it can take a while, especially when you're working with individuals who are really complex. Everything they do is really hard and takes a really long time. So it can take some time to figure those things out. But when you do, it's way easier to work for something that you think is funny or you think is interesting.
Right.
So it's worth it.
So this is the LessonPix add-in. I think the Google ones are called plugins and the Microsoft ones are called add-ins. It doesn't matter. It goes right inside of PowerPoint, and it lets you do things like I need a picture of a duck. If you do a search, you have 75,000 hand-drawn symbols of everything in the world you ever wanted. You click on it, it drops it straight into PowerPoint, and you can do whatever you want with these, right? Tara Rail showed us how to use these in telepractice. I'm a disabled designer there, but it has, it will very quickly let you add your pictures. Any pictures that you have in your tray will be there immediately. There are some common pictures like, no ducks. We want no ducks. There you go. You can do that. And then you also can browse the categories and things like that. The play tools also live here. So if you wanted maybe a set of dice with numbers on them, you can create them. So you've got interactive tools here for running games and things like that.
Those are nice, big, high contrast numbers.
Like those? I like those.
Too.
And then if you wanted actual dots, you can do that. Like if you want the kids to be counting the dots or something, you can do that as well. You can also put pictures from your tray in there. I would reload my tray.
Lauren's words in there.
We do. We can do that. We can do Lauren's words in there by saying this. We need two of them, and you can roll them. And
let's see. How do you use
the sharing center or the sharing center?
And
actually, that's a good thing. You can give them choices, right? So I would use smaller words if I were doing
labeling and playing
card templates. Right. So
the other thing I do is I make the words in the symbol builder because you can put text there too. And make them 2 lines.
Yep, you can do that. Yep. All right. So yeah, you're doing good on the lightning round here. What would you do with?
Yeah. So when I look at this, one of the things that I was doing most was using things that were already made. Let's say something in the sharing center from LessonPix, like a blank game board, and then having the student choose their favorite thing and then pulling up for them to look, and then them using language to describe, no, I want the yellow one with the black outline, or I want the one up top that looks happy. So if you pull up the game, then they can actually pick their own game piece and use all kinds of language to direct you to which one. A lot of times people get really concerned about, well, how am I going to give the student control? And I'm always like, well, give them control with language.
Right.
Let them talk you through it. That's a skill that is incredibly important and not always worked on and well developed.
I want to explain to people why you said this in the context of PowerPoint, because it's true, but you could do that in PDF as well. But if they don't know this, I just want to make sure they know. You can click download other formats here, right? And you can say include the pictures from this material, and say I want a fixed version in PowerPoint format with tokens to cover things up. Right. And this was mainly done specifically for telepractice during COVID. That's when this came about. So, but you can go in here, say enable editing, a little bit of work here. We'll say, well, let's get rid of some of these extra tokens. Let's make this one easy so the kid can help us look around, and maybe let's give them ways to give just red and green spots of what they like and what they don't like. So we'll take some reds and some greens. And okay, and zoom in. And if you're on Zoom, right, like I want like this, you can share this and the kids can move this, right? They can move this around and say, okay, show me something that flies, right? Or whatever you want them to do. All right, well, the only thing on here that flies is probably the kite, right? I haven't really looked. And yeah, you mark that for them, right? So you can absolutely do interactive things like this in PowerPoint or in Google Slides by using the fact that all of our templates now can be downloaded in PowerPoint format, and they work perfectly in Google Slides too. So I think that's why you jumped to PowerPoint when you had that thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really like
I like versatility. I like to be able to do, because I'm so creative. Rarely do I use things, play a game with the way that it's supposed to be played, or use an activity the way it's supposed to be done. I'm coming up with all kinds of weird stuff, which for some people can be challenging. But a lot of times it is, it's pretty useful when I'm trying to build a connection with somebody and encourage them to, want to connect and communicate. But I also want to just really quickly mention that while this was big during COVID, and this is very telepractice-y,
yes,
I think it's way underutilized for people to use it with the students sitting right next to them.
Right.
First of all,
or on the smart board.
You can blow it up really big. If you're as a child with visual impairment, you can get them, really close with it big. There's all kinds of things that you can do. And then if you are using a digital tool on the fly rather than a paper tool, and I like using everything. So I like paper tools, I like digital, but the power of digital is that if they say a word, so let's say that you were saying, oh, what are you eating for breakfast? And, kids say all kinds of interesting things. So maybe they said frog. And instead of saying, no, we're talking about breakfast, we'd say, you eat frogs for breakfast? Well, what does the frog look like? And then you could search for a frog. And, well, which one? Which one do you eat? Do you eat the big one or the little one? Whatever language they have access to in whatever system they're using.
And so right within, sorry, I'm clicking an icon that's not an icon, but right within here, when you have the plugin up, which I should have left up, you can very quickly say, whatever they say, do a search, get the frog, right? And we have tons. One of the neat things about LessonPix is You know, like these are actually the frogs you lick. These are the frogs that you see outside. These are the ones that are in the story, right? These are feelings
Wait.
frogs, happy
I don't
frogs,
lick
and sad
those
frogs.
frogs.
No, I don't lick the frogs. Just threw that in there to
Okay.
see if you'd catch it. Sorry. So we even have all the life cycles of the frog, right? So all of them are there and available. And so yes, you can.
I saw idioms too. It looked like there was a frog in a throat.
Yes, there it is. It's right here. So have you ever seen our idioms? Watch this.
I have.
Watch me. You have?
That's why she called it out. But yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to do it again. We're going to show it again. We have a whole section here on idioms and similes where Lori drew really literal versions of all the things that you have to explain to kids, right? Frog in my throat.
Including drink like a fish.
Drink like a fish. High as a kite.
So, you were talking about beer.
No, not beer. So, what is this one? Put on a brave face. That's good. I haven't seen that one. So, refrigerator running. These are all, some of these are new.
Mm-hmm.
So,
new ones being added all the time.
All the time. So, by the way, Catherine Margaret says hello.
I was going to take us back to the games for a second.
Sure.
Wait, to me?
Yes.
Hi, Katie.
Here, I'll put her up here. There you go. So, hey, Katie.
I miss you, Katie.
All right, Beth, what do you want me to show?
I was going to take, it doesn't matter, any of the games. What I was going to say is what Lauren made a really good point about. It's not just for teletherapy. It's not just for, it's when you're in person, but with kids. I think it's a lot of time, you know, we have all these awesome print games and we know that games are a way to engage kids, but a lot of times our students may need to be explicitly taught how to play a game, and projecting it on the screen and doing it as a whole class, whether it's bingo or you know, one of these games here, and explicitly teaching and playing the game together and coaching them through how to play a game, then allows those same students to then you to set up games that they're going to do in centers when you're not necessarily there to give them that support so that they can be successful with the paper version, because you've explicitly taught it with a whole, you know, on the smart board. And I just think that's such a powerful way of, you know, instead of making an assumption that kids know how to play a game, a lot of kids might not have had those experiences in their home, or it might be challenging socially for them to, you know, to do some of the things that we do within games, and how to be a good winner, how to be a good loser, all of those kinds of things. So I really love that idea of using the game digitally and then giving kids an opportunity to play the games, paper games.
Yeah, that's an amazing way to look at it. As you're talking, I thought of one other thing, which is that when you print something, it's pretty final. But how often are you doing an activity and it goes awry? And
right.
the things change and the topic changes. If you're doing it digitally, you can be like, wait, we're not talking about frogs. No, we're talking about sloths. Okay, well, let's find a sloth. So you'd be able to actually shift on the fly. Whereas if it's printed, you like, if I was trying to draw a sloth, it would be terribly ugly.
Me too, by the way.
Yeah.
Three.
Yeah. I have one symbol that I drew in lesson. We had an exercise years ago where Lori made each member of our family draw themselves. So there is a Bill in here that I drew, and there's a Lori in here that she drew. That's the only picture I drew in this whole system. There, that's me. There's me. So this is the best I can possibly do. And she colored it, for the record.
It's better than I could do, Bill. So there you go. And I just want to acknowledge to Catherine Margaret that I get the Friends reference there. Pivot.
Last one.
This one?
Pivot.
Yeah.
Pivot?
Yeah, some Friends.
She knows how to pivot. That's a, you know, I'm lucky to know Catherine Margaret, Katie, and she is all about following students, and she works with the little ones.
So did Lori.
Yep.
The little bitty ones. So let's talk real briefly about one thing on LessonPix. So thank you, and we're gonna include. You're still here for the rest of this too, but I'm just gonna show one feature we released yesterday.
Yeah.
and then maybe
Right.
I'm not
I
going to
can't
show
stay on
anything else.
super long. It's
What's that?
because I
know
have my class at
you
8.
have class. I know. I'm very conscious that it's 7.
Okay.
I got you. You were very clear when we set this up. I got you. So, but we did just make a change that is important in time for school. We have not made any videos on it yet because I think it might tweak. The look might change a little bit over the next week or so. But it is public, and everybody can use it. If you're a user of any of these tools, you're going to be happy. This is one of the things that people have asked for the most and the longest. Beth will be very excited about this. I don't think she knows it either.
Like, I'm waiting to know, like, what did you do? Is it the
so if you do any, so let me show this on, let me show this the way it used to work first. Yeah, it's probably better. So if you go to LessonPix and you were to do something like, I need an isolated final K sound. So you'll type in, I don't know, talking. You'll find the K sound. I want it at the end. And I don't want any blend.
Got it.
I got this.
I got it.
I see. When you did this, you would do the search. The sound finder would find all the words we have that end in K. The problem is you'll see there's 6 aches here, and then there's like 20 backs here. And by the time you actually get down to being able to see what words are available, they're buried in all the variations. And you want the variations, but you want them out of the way. So that's what we did. So I'll do exactly the same example here.
So excited. Oh, you just made my night, Bill.
I want this is on the current site. If I want at the end of the word, I want an isolated K sound, and I say find words, it will actually find a lot more words. The difference is you'll notice that they're grouped. So all the aches are together, and all the backs are together, and all the bakes are together, and all the beaks are together. And so if you say you want only CVC words, it will now actually show you useful CVC words without burying them behind, 40 cakes and 26 bakes.
But what if I want a different cake picture?
Then you click on this and it opens it up and you choose the cake you want.
There you go.
And everybody's happy.
What if you made
a
a cake in school and you have a
I made
picture
it
of it?
before school started. I succeeded. Don't tell me you needed it last week. So
No, you didn't even say anything about it last week. We were all together last week, and you didn't say one word about this. I'm so excited.
Because it wasn't done until yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I released it today. That's how we roll.
87 looks.
87. Oh, yeah, 87 looks. That's right. Angela thinks it's cool. Yeah.
Ashley.
Ashley. So yes, that's exactly correct. So, this is so if you are an RTIC speech path, I mean, I know everybody's an RTIC at some level, but like if you spend a lot of time on phonology and RTIC and phonetic disorder, phonological stuff, this is huge. And this works in all of these. It works on the letter finder. So if you're looking for, let's look for, I don't know, GH anywhere in the word. It'll find all the words with GH in them. It's, the short ones are first.
You won't have 20
You don't have 52 lights in the way, right? Or 50 fights. I mean, before you ever saw a site, you would have to go through like 150. And the problem with that is you'd run out of pictures before you got to the ones you wanted. Right. So if you want way or eighth or 80, 80 or 80, actually you have a picture of 80. Cool. So these are all here. So if you want to do dough, there's 12. Oh, Play-Doh. I got you. Play-Doh. Cough. So this is true of all of our, all of these tools. So if you are doing, this almost makes this tool useful. It used to be kind of useless. But if you're looking for maybe 4 consonant clusters anywhere in the word, it'll, not the entire word, anywhere in the word. There you go. Anywhere in the word. There are no 4 consonant cluster words.
This can be incredibly powerful also if you're working on literacy.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I have a question for you because we had a discussion about this earlier today about what the response would be to something. Okay. One of the things that we get from teachers who are using this tool for literacy is if you are doing if you're doing the sound finder.
Catherine Margaret, are you listening? Because she's a teacher. Maybe she'll be able to answer too. Because I'm,
I would love your opinion.
All right.
We have others. I know her. So if you were working on this and you wanted the ing sound, right? You'd take the I and the ing, and this is the IPA. And speech paths know the IPA. Nobody else knows the IPA except for conlangers and me. That's it. You got speech paths, conlangers, and me.
The musicians.
Oh, and musicians who sing in other languages, right? So it is intimidating or it is confusing to some teachers to see this. So I'm thinking about adding a little flip right here, a little switch that switches from IPA to phonetic spelling. And so this would say, AY, and this would say like I. But like if you did something like green, this wouldn't be an I. I know this is the E sound, but it is the I. It would say double E right there instead if you did phonetic spelling. And so I'm curious on both how useful this would be for teachers, because it wouldn't be hard. And then would I get any pushback from the speech paths?
Well, I wouldn't push back because you give a choice. I'm all about choice. If I want to use the phonetic symbols, I can. But this just makes it much more accessible to lots of individuals who are working with all kinds of learners.
Right. I think so. I think it's worth doing. I also think that it's something where people do like this and they see the IPA and they're like, ooh, they get speech paths. And that's true. So we'll probably leave it on that for the default.
And I just pulled out my UFly book. So for those folks that are following a curriculum like this, where it has exactly like that, like in the UFly, it shows it with both IPA and like the phonetic spelling of things if people can't see it. But anyway, so I was like, so I do love that because it does show some of both.
Yep. And Angela from Amazing Kids made a great point that it's not just great to have options for the learner, but for parents.
Right.
Too.
Well, and
so
people,
it's not just teachers and not just SLPs, but parents who may already be a little overwhelmed.
Right.
This makes it a little clearer.
I agree, and I think we had when we did Soundable. Do you remember Soundable, the IPA Scrabble game for your phone that we did? IPA with friends we did. So we did that with Tactus years ago, and we had a setting there that would switch it back and forth between the two. And the only real issue was the TH. There's two THs. And so we did a capital TH and a lowercase TH, and that was the best we could do. We might put like a little sound for the voiced TH, the voiced labiodental fricative or whatever it is, right? I don't know. Somebody will tell me that was wrong. It's close, right?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, come on, you two. You're both speech paths.
I don't have. I am a speech
make the sound. I'm like, yeah.
I'm like, I didn't even process it. I was like,
you would have just taken it on faith that I knew what I was talking about.
Yeah,
I'm an engineer. Come on, guys.
Sure. I do know how to do that, but
yeah,
agree with choice.
I think using fancy voice getting bothered when I can't use cultural accents because I'm fancy and okay.
And this is a stellar teacher.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I
think I got this backwards.
I've been in her classroom.
So I think that's the case. I think that's the other thing is that I think we are going to be adding more speech path tools based on our conversation with Mary and May about the max opposition and multiple oppositions and things like that. I forget the name she gave me for that. We'll be adding that. So I think our speech paths will know we're still with them while we're actually trying to support the others as well. Also, people ask a lot. They ask us. A lot of people ask us why we're $36. And I should just throw this out there. We will not always be $36. It has been 11 years. At some point, inflation will even take effect at LessonPix, okay? But it's not this year. But at some point, we will have to raise that. But we will always keep it affordable for exactly that reason. Parents of special needs kids buy this, and they don't bother their speech paths for making picture cards and visual schedules at home. We have homeschool parents who use this. We have a lot of gen ed teachers who don't have a budget who buy this themselves, right? And if we're thinking about that market as well, it makes sense to have an option other than the IPA, right? So there's my soapbox.
There you go.
So I also had to throw that. At some point, we have to.
We need to say that I'm on borrowed time. You hear that?
I heard. You have a dog walk to do as well. I see. Okay, fair enough. All right, so we are going to schedule another one of these.
Okay.
Probably several this month, and I'm not sure who our guest will be, but I think this will be next week.
Okay.
Because we have something big that Lori did for back to school that we need to talk about. Colossal amount of work, and we're not going to have time to do it justice tonight.
All righty.
Fair?
Yep.
Y'all prepped?
Yep.
Got y'all dressed up, and you can't go anywhere.
It's all good.
All right, fair enough. All right, so let me see if there are any questions for Lauren.
As I try to keep my dog quiet.
Quick. No,
Once he starts barking and oh no, he's sneezing. This is bad. Once he starts sneezing, he's got to go out.
Okay.
All right.
He's full. He's full.
Well,
All right.
thank you.
I think we're
Oh,
going to wrap
buddy.
this. I appreciate everybody for joining us. Lauren, thank you for being here. We'll let your dog stay on. I'm not going to
I'm
mute
sorry.
him.
This is
All good.
Nope.
Everybody
show you
says thank
something.
you. I'll just throw Katie up there.
All right.
And we will see you all next week. And everybody have a great back to school. All right.
All right. Sorry,
everybody.
guys.
See you later.
Okay, buddy.